Good evening. I'd like to call this meeting for the city of San Juan at 6 p.m. Maybe rise from location. Mr. Juan, can you lead us, sir?
Bow our heads. Heavenly Father, we come to you this hour asking for your blessings and help us as we gather here today. We pray for your guidance in the matters at hand and ask that you will clearly show us how to conduct our work with a spirit of joy and enthusiasm. Help us work together and encourage each other to excellence in order to bring success and growth to our city. Lord,
Face the flag for Pledge of Allegiance. Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. You may be seated. Under public comments, Diana, do we have? No? Okay, go ahead, sir.
Mayor, Commissioners, staff, community, good evening. Tonight we have on the presentation, we have the presentation on Departmental Reports. Tonight we have the Department of Planning and Zoning, Department of Parks and Recreation, San Juan Memorial Library, and Department of Sanitation. Everybody's here available should you have any questions, but before we start, Mayor, I'd like to just announce that on September 27, Chief, we're having the vaccines for the booster, the third booster, there at the Memorial Park. And it's going to be 8 to 12, from 8 to 12, Mayor. So we're inviting the whole community to come out, and for those that would like to get the third shot, it's going to be available. And it's going to be the Pfizer.
Are we gonna blast that out?
Yes, sir, we're going to do that as soon as tomorrow.
How many, Chief, are you projected to have?
537 and plus, they'll bring extras.
Okay,
That's
good.
what they have projected.
Okay,
Are these the Pfizer or the Moderna?
Pfizer.
Pfizer.
Yes.
Okay, thank you. Under, any questions for the directors? Under Planning, Zoning, Parks and Rec, the Library, and Sanitation Department? I guess I have one question for Mr. Willingham in reference to the high school league. Do you have a projected date that you guys plan to start?
Monday, August the 4th.
August 4th?
Yes,
Um,
first Monday of August. October, I'm sorry.
October.
Not August.
October 4th?
Yes.
And have the schools been reached already?
Yes, we have been reaching out to schools. We are trying to reach our, an 18 is what our goal is. If we get more, we get more, but we'd like to at least have 8. 8.
Okay,
Yep. We'll play the boys on Mondays and the girls on Wednesdays,
once a week.
once a week.
Okay, good. Any questions for the director? If not, we'll go ahead and go on B, under the presentation. TAP Local Athletes of the Year, Mr. Willingham.
Good evening, Mayor, Commission.
Good evening, sir.
Well, as you all know, this year we were able to get back up and going again with our youth sports over the summer. And over the last few years, we've been recognizing the Texas Amateur Athletic Federation and City of San Juan Male and Female Athletes of the Year. So after a very successful summer, taking, I believe, around 70 participants to the state games in Corpus Christi, we're here now to recognize a male and female that had an outstanding summer for us. We'll start with our female. Currently, she's an 8th grader at Austin Middle School. She participates on the 8th grade A team, volleyball team. She's also a member of the Texas Fierce Elite 14U national team. She plays softball for Texas Show. She's a multi-sport athlete, honor roll student. She attended Carmen Elementary. She currently attends Austin Middle School and will soon be a PSJ Battling Bear in the near future. At the 2021 Region 2 track and field meet that was held in Brownsville, Texas, she placed first. She was a gold medalist in the girls 100-meter dash. First place, gold medalist in the girls 200-meter dash, both in the 14 and under division. And she was a part of the silver medal team that in the 4x100-meter relay in the 14 and under division as well. She was a qualifier in all three events and represented us at the TAF State Games in Corpus Christi. And in the 100 and 200, she had a personal best in both of those events. So without further ado, I'd like to present to you our 2021 San Juan, Texas and Texas Amateur Athletic Federation Female Athlete of the Year, Ms. Juliana Guajardo. Mom, Dad, if you'd like to.
We'd just like to thank the City of San Juan, our commission, and of course our Parks and Rec Department. As you could tell, she's very surprised because we didn't inform her about tonight. She thought she was coming here for something else, so she's kind of in shock. Wasn't ready for it, but you know, on behalf of our family, we appreciate everything the city has done for us, and we're looking forward to continue to participate. And you know, I do work for the Parks and Rec Department, but I can guarantee you, not only are we headed the right direction, we've been in the right direction, and we're developing athletes that are going to make a difference in the future, not only in the classroom, but also on the field. Thank you, guys.
Congratulations.
Take after your grandpa. You got better? You want to put it right? You got it?
Right.
Need to request a step stool.
Before I finish, I just want to take a quick moment to acknowledge my staff, Mr. Ramiro Moreno, our Parks and Rec Supervisor, Mr. Alex Lopez, our Parks and Rec Coordinator, and I didn't bring him up because I just wanted him to enjoy it as a dad tonight, the moment, but Parks and Rec Assistant Director and our PAL Director, Police Athletic League, Mr. Ruben Guajardo. They've done a tremendous job. I mean, our programs are growing. We're offering from kindergarten all the way to high school now, and our facilities are being upgraded, and we're starting to fill them up, and it's really nice to see kids participating again. It was a long time without it, and they just did a tremendous job all summer long. We were juggling what we usually do in the spring and summer and separate it. We did it all this summer with baseball, softball, track and field, swimming. We added swimming this year. So we had it all going on at one time, and you know, staff just did a tremendous job. So I just want to take a moment and give them a round of applause. Okay, now we go on to our mail. This young man has been a 2-year starter for the PSJ North Raiders on the football team. He was and part of the 2020 by-district championship team. He's on the varsity, was in the shot put and discus, and was a 2021 6A regional finalist for PSJ. He's also a member of the baseball team. He's a member of the honor roll, and is a dual enrollment student at PSJ North Early College High School and South Texas College. This year at the 2021 Region 2 track and field meet, he placed second. He got the silver medal in the 16 and under division and the gold medal in the shot put in the 16 and under division. At the TAF State Games of Texas, he got the bronze medal in the 16 and under in the discus and was our state champion in the 16 and under shot put, first place gold medalist. So So our 2021 San Juan and Texas Amateur Athletic Federation Male Athlete of the Year is Dante Garcia. He's a little embarrassed to say a few words, but Dante came to us this summer and did a real good job representing the city and, of course, brought home a state championship for us. So we'd like to congratulate Dante again.
Thank you.
No, we'll get both of them, yeah. And of course, for the Parks and Rec Department, we'd just like to thank you all, Mayor, City Manager, Commission, for your all support. You know, without your support, our programs can't move forward. And we're definitely doing that. We're moving forward and getting these kids opportunities and nice recognition. So thank you very much.
I'd just like to make a quick comment in reference to what you were doing. I also like to thank Parks and Rec and your staff for doing a great job. I'd like to thank the athletes, Juliana, Dante, for representing and putting San Juan on the map. That's very big. That's big for us. That's big for all of us here in the commission. At the end of the day, you know, we're here not only for our youth, our kids from PSJ, from San Juan, but we're here for the whole PSJ community. Regardless of where you go to school at, regardless where you're from, our facilities and all our programs are open to everybody. And as you can see, we've done a tremendous job on working on our fields. Right now, we're looking at building a facility for basketball, volleyball, stuff like that. So, you know, I want to congratulate you guys again for doing a great job. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
And go ahead, Mr. Juan.
The next item on the public hearings, we have hold a public hearing for the conditional use permit to allow a truck parking at 301 West Nolan Avenue, legally described as the north 330 feet of the west 314 feet, excluding the west 100 feet of drainage ditch of Lot 12, Block 8. John Clausen subdivision is requested by Liu Gonzalez. Mr. Escobar.
Mayor, Commissioners, this is a condition use. To allow commercial truck parking, kind of like 18-wheelers, in this zone. So this is on Raul Longoria Nolana Avenue. It's basically south of where the Spirit Trucking's at. The Spirit Trucking on Nolana. So that's the location. There's a map of the property. The reason they're applying for this is instead of having these trucks in the residential zone, they want a commercial location so they can put those 18-wheelers, those types of trucks.
All right, I'm going to go ahead and open this up at 6:14 p.m. Is there anyone here for or against? For or against? Any questions for Mr. Escobar? Reference to this item? I see that your board was a
They did
6-0, right?
They did approve it, and I believe Mr. Gonzalez is here, you know, if you have any questions.
You want to go ahead and step to the podium, sir? State your name for the record.
Eliud Gonzalez.
Yes, sir.
I just bought that property, you know, with that purpose of I have several trucks that I want to, you know, use and park. It's just for personal use. It's not going to be for open to public. Like I want to build up just a shed where I can do the service for my own trucks, but it's just personal, not to service any other company's truck. So
How many trucks do you have, sir?
I have 7.
7?
Yes, sir.
And are they reefers or dry van?
Reefers.
They're all
Yes, sir.
reefers?
All reefers.
This is limited to take it, like you said, away from the residential? That's the
Instead of
purpose.
parking it, within the subdivision, he wants a location for that.
That makes sense.
Yeah, and going back to, it was a unanimous,
Yeah, and he'll still have to develop it. You don't have to apply for building permits. He wants to put a storage.
yeah, no,
Paving, things like that, so.
yeah. As long as you guys guide them, which
Yeah.
you guys do a
Yes.
great job
Yep.
in doing that, so, okay. Any other questions? Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Any questions for Mr. Escobar? If not, I'm gonna go ahead and close this at 6:16 PM. Is there a motion to approve?
Move.
Is there a second? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed? Carries. Thank you, sir.
The next item, hold a public hearing for conditional use permit for the sale of alcoholic beverages for on-premise consumption at Yadira's drive-through located 506 East FM 495, legally described as Lot 1 Yadira subdivision, and requested by Margarito Esquivel.
So this business, it's actually, it's on 495 and Hooper Avenue, Yadira's drive-through. They're applying for an on-premise because nowadays, a lot of the drive-throughs, they're making those mixed drinks, so they have to open them and seal them. So TABC requires them to get it on-premise. Although they're not going to be drinking there, they have to get that so that they can sell that kind of alcohol. Yeah.
That being said, I'm gonna go ahead and open it up at 6:17 PM. Is there anyone here for or against? For or against? Any questions for Mr. Escobar?
I have a question.
Go ahead, ma'am.
So, for the conditional use, you're saying they can consume on the premises after 5, and that'll be okay?
Yes, because the Planning and Zoning Commission, they felt, they're allowing it, so they wanted to restrict it just in case somebody, decides to drink there. Yeah.
Any other questions? If not, I'll close this at 6:17 PM. Is there a motion approved?
So moved.
I'll second that. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Motion carries. Thank you, sir.
The next item, hold a public hearing for conditional use permit to allow an automotive repair and service at El Tio Auto Sales located at 804 East Business 83, legally described as Lot 84 to 89, Tierra Blanca State Subdivision, as requested by Luis A. Vasquez.
So this is a conditional use permit. Anytime they want to do automotive repair, they have to apply for a conditional use. It's Luis A. Vasquez, located on Business 83 between Stewart and Cesar Chavez. So this property is north of where the San Juan Gardens, the mobile home park. There's that empty properties. That's where they're looking to do that auto sales at that location. It's an auto sales and also mechanic shop, but we're trying to restrict, a lot of the mechanic part, but we're allowing it under this conditional use permit unless there's other conditions that the commission wants to put on there.
I'm gonna go ahead and open this up at 6. Here, for or against? For or against? Any questions for Mr. Escobar? It was a 6-0 as well, right? Okay. With that being said, I'll go ahead and close this at 6:18 PM. Is there a motion approved?
So move.
Is there a second? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Motion carries. Thank you, sir.
The next item of the ordinances is consideration and action to approve an ordinance abandoning a 50-foot utility easement dedication out of lots 12 through 22, Cesar Heights subdivision, Hidalgo County, Texas, as recorded by instrument number 323-5451, as requested by the owner, authorizing the mayor to execute any and all necessary transfer documents for said abandonment, providing a repealer clause, providing a saving clause, providing for effective date, providing for publication, and ordaining other provisions related to the subject matter hereof.
For this item, the city recently annexed this property, a couple years ago, and they actually developed it, which is called Cesar Heights. It's located on Cesar Chavez, south of Moore Road. The engineer is requesting to abandon that 15-foot easement. What happened is once it went through the preliminary and final plat process, they located that there's a 15-foot easement going through all the properties that belongs to the city. So they want to abandon that. And the reason that they didn't find it at the time, they must have just missed it. So in order for these homes to build, we have to abandon that easement, because if not, they can't build the home because of setbacks and requirements. So there's the engineers here as well, but basically they're just going to abandon that. They're asking to abandon that easement, and utilities has no issues with it. There's no utilities or anything like that within that easement.
Questions? Go ahead.
You did say that there's no utilities or anything in
Yeah.
the backside, so be no
There's-
problem.
there's-
And that's basically what we're doing right now. We're trying to do away with the easements in the back, so we don't have to be
Yeah.
servicing this area.
Yeah, there's no utilities, and then military highway, it's actually their CCN. They have no issues with it. They also provided a letter as well.
Any other questions? Not, is there a motion to approve? So moved. Is there a second?
Second.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Motion carries. Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
The next item, an ordinance amending Chapter 1, General Provisions, Article 1.05, Administrative Fees, Section 1.05.006, San Juan Memorial Park, subsection A, Park Facility Rental Fees of the City of San Juan's Code of Ordinances, to add paragraph 4, to provide provisions to allow co-sponsorship and co-promotion of events held at the city park facilities, providing for effective date, providing for codification, providing for a severability clause, and providing for a repealer clause. If you look at page 64, 65, those are the items that are going to be added to the amended ordinance if approved. And pretty much what it says is that this will give the city, subject to city commission approval, obviously, it gives the city manager may enter into co-sponsorship and also co-promotion of events, if in case anybody would like to come over and provide any type of this kind of events at a later date, such as any musical events, any type of events that the city may venture into co-sponsoring, like I said, or co-promoting this type of events.
So this is just basically, that's if the city
Yes, sir.
decides.
If.
Right?
And obviously, it's going to be on a case-by-case basis.
Yeah, exactly.
Yes.
Okay. Yeah, I just want to make sure we
Yes.
put that on the record there. Okay. Any questions for Mr. Arjona?
No question on this one. Co-sponsoring events, you're advising that it automatically goes to the decision and won't be coming back to the board as far as we're going to co-sponsoring, or we've been involved directly with any entertainment services?
Yes, as far as co-sponsoring, yes, sir, it will need to come back before the city commission
Okay,
for
gotcha.
approval.
Okay,
Lighting out the foundation, right?
right,
Right.
gotcha,
It's either the co-sponsor or the co-promotion will be subject by approval of the city commission.
gotcha, okay.
Any money transactions or
Yes, sir.
anything comes with us?
Exactly.
Sounds good.
Yeah, okay. All right. Any other questions for Mr. Arjona? If not, is there a motion to approve?
So-
Is there a second?
Second.
All those in favor say aye.
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 The next item
Motion
under
carries.
discussion and possible action, I'm sorry, preliminary and final plat approval of the Arguello subdivision being a .86 acre tract of land out of Lot 7, Block 6, John Clausen subdivision located approximately a quarter of a mile east of Veterans Boulevard along the north side of Eldora Road, as requested by R.E. Garcia and Associates. Mr. Escobar?
Mayor Commissioner, this is Arguello subdivision. This is located on Eldora between Veterans and Raul Longoria. There's also a map provided in the packet. It's submitted by Luis Manuel Arguello. It's a one-lot residential plat, so it's just a simple plat. City staff, city engineer did review. There's an 8-inch existing water line from North Alamo Water Supply. There's existing 10-inch for the city of San Juan. He did dedicate the 15-foot utility easements, and there's also approved drainage report. They're just going to build a residential home, so it's just a one lot.
Questions for Mr. Escobar? Not, is there a motion to approve?
So moved.
Is there a second? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Motion carries. Thank you, sir.
The next item, preliminary and final plat approval of the Christian Estate subdivision being a 10.95 acre tract of land out of Lot 12, Block 8, John Clausen subdivision located approximately a quarter of a mile south of Nolana Avenue along the west side of Raul Longoria Road, is requested by Quintanilla Headley and Associates, Inc.
Yes, this is a preliminary and final Christian Estate subdivision. It's actually be a multi-family development, 28 lots, submitted by OC Development. City staff did review, city engineer reviewed as well. There's an 8-inch water line provided by North Alamo Water Supply Corporation. There's an 8-inch sewer line. They will provide the 3 fire hydrants as well, street lighting within the development. They're also asking for 10-foot utility easements. Normally you have 15, but they're asking for 10. And they also did provide the drainage report as well. This was recently zone changed to multifamily, but they also left some commercial in the front along Raul Longoria. There's also a letter requesting some variances as well.
Questions for Mr. Escobar?
So just for clarification, our ordinance says 15 feet, but they're asking just for 10.
What they're asking for, it's a list, I believe it's rear 20 on this one to 10 feet. and side setback from 6 to 5. And then there's a few specifics on lots 13 through 16. Utility easements are asking from 15 to 10. And then they're also asking for the sanitary sewer manholes from fiberglass to the concrete foundation. So there's a list of variances that they're requesting. This is similar to Carroll Estates subdivision that was approved, and it's a nice subdivision. So.
Do you have any other properties that are asking for a decrease from the easement from 10 to 15, from the 15 to the 10?
There's been a
and the 6
couple.
to 5
Yeah, there's been a couple in the
that are
past.
still yet to come up?
Mhm. So I don't know if the engineers. No. No.
Planning and Zoning Commission denied it.
Yeah.
5-1.
Yeah.
Discussion there, more or less.
Well, they discussed, being consistent. They looked at the zoning ordinance, subdivision ordinance. They wanted to follow the rules of the city. And I know the developer, he has a different concept than what the city zoning ordinance has, subdivision ordinance. So, that's why he's asking for those variances.
I guess one of my questions is, when we're decreasing the easement from 15 to the 10, what kind of problems might we encounter, if we would encounter any?
But it's just this one in the rear. There's no utilities. The utilities are on the front side, but in the back side, it's going to be, AT&T, phone lines, things like that.
That's all in the front now, so it's not an issue.
Yeah, utilities on the front, so.
You had mentioned the similar, something like this on Carroll,
Yeah,
right?
Carroll Estates.
We did approve that. How long ago was that? Do you
I
recall?
would say maybe about a year ago.
It was about a year
Yeah,
ago,
they're actually in
right?
construction right now.
Okay.
There hasn't been any problems or anything?
No.
No, everything's been good?
That was my next question. You haven't
Yeah.
had any problems with it?
No.
Okay.
Robert, what was the decision from P and Z?
It was to deny.
Denied, okay. So just so the council is aware, if they want to override P and Z, it would require a four-fifths vote. So it would, with the council that we have here, it would require all members in favor of overruling P and Z, if that's the desire of this council.
Now, is that, I mean, this is not the first time, we needed like a supermajority to override.
No, it's not the first time. But in this case, because it requires a four-fifths vote, if you only have three out of 4, then it would have to be, because we have one missing commissioner. Today, the rule would be, it would have to be unanimous, should the council want to go override P and Z, that's the only way.
What about the handicap ramps? What was the deal with the handicap ramps? Okay.
I have a question. Mr. Palacios, is the 4, and I hope I get a unanimous vote, right? But is that required? I thought that was only a requirement on zoning changes. Is it on this particular item too?
It's on anything that, if the P and Z has denied it, the only way to overrule P and Z would be by a fourth-fifth vote of the council. So that's why I asked the question, what was the ruling of the P and Z?
Sure.
So
No,
because the
it was
P&Z
just my understanding that was zoning changes, and we've already got the zoning changed. Any vote, so anything that goes before P and Z, if they vote against, it has to be by four-fifths vote.
It's typically, that's the way it's been done. We do have, there's the ability to have an ordinance, or have, if we ever ran into the situation, the only way that we can have, other than a fourth-fifth vote and go by majority, is to actually have an ordinance adopted by our city, basically allowing for a regular majority, and it would be a majority of the members who are present at the council table that day. But because we have a ruling on the P and Z, and we don't have that ordinance, correct, right, Robert? So then, in that case, my advice to the council is that it would require a fourth-fifth vote, and because we have a missing member, it would require a
basically a unanimous decision by this council, should the council want to overrule the P and Z.
So then I think I need to present. And I'm gonna go backwards. And so when we first brought Carol before you all, when we looked at the ordinance is a very different ordinance than what we see in all the other cities. For example, I think it requires a 150-foot lot, right? No other city has that. That would basically have, instead of one fourplex on a 75-foot lot, you would have one fourplex on a 150-foot lot. So your density would be cut in half automatically, just with that part of the ordinance. And so, although we've done Carroll a year ago, we're still working with the same ordinance. And what I could tell you at Carroll, which we have all of these variances, everything's going well, nobody's had any issues. And I'm even happy to say, obviously this helps us economically, but it says a lot about the city, and that one of the fourplexes that's built, it's fully rented. And it's getting the same amount of rent that I'm getting in Sherry Estates, which is on Benson and 495, right in the middle of Sharyland. So people here, you have the same type of renters here in San Juan. I mean, y'all should be really proud of that, that we're getting in Sharyland. So it's exciting. We haven't had any issues. Everything's coming out really nice. The demand is out of the, the demand to live in San Juan in these apartments is out of the roof. But if you have any particular, really what planning and zoning talked about the most was the sidewalk, because they saw handicapped sidewalks and they were asking for a variance. But we removed that because we only have 2 ramps and they're both on the commercial part of the property. So we're going to put those in. If you recall, the reason we asked to remove ramps last time, it was because the developer was going to put them in, and then the builder was going to come in and build the house, and then they probably wouldn't line up with their sidewalk. And so in all other cities, the ramps on the corners are put in when the house is actually built on the corner. But that's been removed because we're going to put in the ramps. So if you have any particular questions on any of the variants, I can answer.
There is a, target for ramps.
There's
But
what?
here states not to comply with handicap ramps.
No, we're going to put them in. That was the request because this is a small subdivision. In a normal subdivision like Carroll and Meadows on Ridge, you have a lot of corners, right? The subdivision's really big, you drive in and every corner has a ramp. And on those, we requested they be put in by the builders on those subdivisions. We don't have anything like this here. So we're putting in the ramps on this one.
There would only be 2?
Those are only 2 on the commercial part of the property. Ramps. Sidewalks, there's sidewalks throughout.
To remind the commission, on the last one, it's not that they removed the ramps, it's just that they were going to be put in
By
at
the
a later
builder.
time. We weren't removing ramps. They were just-
And that's what P&Z was thinking. They're like, hey, we have ADA, we need to follow. No, it wasn't that we didn't want to follow ADA. It's that we were asking that the builder put them in when they actually put in the sidewalk.
Moving forward, council?
So should the council want to override P and Z as the application was on this matter? It would require obviously a motion second, and then in order for it to override, it would require a unanimous vote. Now, had we had a full council today, then it would require 4 of the 5 people. But because we're shy 1 member, it would be a unanimous vote. If the council wants to override the P and Z.
That's up to you.
If they so choose, I mean, to have the other member of the council here.
Looking at all this here, the variances, I think variances, we've done them before. The sidewalks is complying with the sidewalks. That's about the only one that was in question. So, but that's totally up to you all.
I just want to make sure that, we're within the scope of the law, you know what I'm saying? Because in reference to, I thought we had to have like a super on the zoning changes. as well, you know, and Commissioner was mentioning about that. I don't know why I'm kind of leaning toward, I thought that's what I understood back in the prior time when we dealt with the Carroll deal. So now you're telling me different. So all I'm asking, I think what we need to do is maybe just go ahead and maybe table this item for the simple reason that I really want to just dissect it when it comes to the legal aspect of it and make sure that
We can confirm that for you, but like I said, in practice, again, the way we've done it, in practice, whenever we override P and Z, whether it be zoning or another request, our practice has been requirement of a fourth-fifth vote. So that's been our practice.
now regardless on anything of P and Z,
Pretty much to override the P and Z, which is why I always follow closely as to what those votes are. What P and Z voted for or not, was it in favor or not? So in practice, again, that's what we've been following. Again, I have no problem researching.
I mean, I don't know what you all think.
Whether or not we need whether or not it's just for zoning requests or whether or not it's any variances that are requested through P and Z, but that's been our practice.
And we did, in,
So I guess at this time,
Your
we'll,
options here, I'm sorry, Mayor, I'm sorry.
go ahead, sir. Go.
So your options here are either right along, I mean, if we so choose, we'll say a denial.
No,
I mean, we're not overriding the,
yeah, if.
but we don't want to,
If council is not comfortable making a vote on this, basically, there could be
Correct.
a motion to table. We can bring it immediately back
okay.
to our next meeting. If the council takes no action, then obviously it comes back. It still hasn't failed yet, but it has to come back whenever is it that you want it to come back on a no action. Or you call, somebody calls to vote, somebody makes a motion to approve it, and then whether or not there's a vote, if there is a four people vote in favor, well, then obviously this pretty much goes forward, and the variances have been requested are basically approved by this council. So those are your three options.
but just for clarification, these are the same variances that we got at Carroll? This is the same variances we got at Meadows and Ridge?
That's my point. My point is that that's what I kind of
Yeah.
understand of what happened when we dealt with the Carroll matter.
Yes.
And, you know, everything did, you know, I mean, everything was approved, so now.
Yeah, the only issue, Commissioners, I can't remember on the Carroll matter whether or not you had P and Z denial or it was an approval, so.
But-
It was a denial.
It was a denial?
Okay.
You see what I'm saying? So,
So this conversation about, you know, you stated up there that, well, when I asked, and you stated the P and Z thought that, well, they didn't want to be, you know, back and forth or stay consistent.
Yeah, and when it
That's not
came,
consistent with what
and
we're
when-
trying to do.
and when it came back with a fourth-fifth vote is how that was approved. We can double check that, but from what I understand, like I said, our practice has been overriding P and Z is required a fourth-fifth vote. And we've been not just applying it to zone changes, but we've been applying it to whatever variances or what's brought before P and Z. That could be changed, guys. In the city of Alamo, we don't do supermajority. But we have an ordinance that's been adopted by the city that basically allows the council to override P and Z just by simple majority. So that's also a possibility. Other cities do that.
That up at the same time?
Well, no, at this time, we would have to.
talking
obviously-
about for the next
Yeah,
one.
we'd have to create an ordinance that allows for that, and then obviously you have your first and second reading, but those are things that we've seen before in other cities. But if you wish to table it, if you wish to take no action at this time, or you wish to call the question, and if there is a motion to approve, those are your options. Okay. Then
I
at
guess
this,
at this time, we'll just go ahead and make a motion to table this item.
there you go. Then automatically we'll come back
Yeah,
in the next
so that
meeting.
way we can come back and
I'll second that.
really dissect the issue. So there's a motion. You've been second. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Motion carries. Thank you.
And for clarification, you want me to do the research as to whether or not the requirement of the fourth-fifth vote, whether it's for zoning issues or for variance, other other variance issues, is that correct?
Hold on, and I would suggest so, I mean, because sometimes, some commissioner may not be available at the time, and there's important things that need to get done. And a simple majority, I mean, if there's 4 of us here, I think we're viable to make a decision. And I think that prohibits that,
That would be an, the,
or if there was 3 of us for that
Yeah.
matter.
yeah, so if the city wants to do that ordinance that we did in other cities, we can do that and we can come up with something for you guys, for your consideration. And so if that's adopted in the future, basically, a simple majority can overrule P and Z. And it would be,
About a month to change that ordinance?
it would, probably, you would obviously need your first and second reading.
That's what I'm
As
saying.
far as drafting, it wouldn't take me much
No,
time
no, no,
because
no.
we already have it from the
But what
city.
I'm saying, I know the readings takes, we gotta do 2 readings.
Yes, exactly,
So it's about a month.
about a month, that's correct.
All right, no problem. I guess we'll address when we bring it back again. Just make sure, pull out the minutes on that, Carol, and kind of.
I'll visit with Mr.
Yes.
Escobar too.
Okay.
Okay, thank you, sir.
Next item D, discussion and possible action to approve discussion and possible action to authorize staff to approve the final year contract extension with Chemtrade for liquid ammonium sulfate solution and liquid ammonium sulfate with a possible price increase, and authorize the city manager to execute all related documents and budget amendment as needed. Salinas.
Mayor, Commissioners, 3 years ago, sorry?
Not joking.
Oh, 3 years. No, I'll be short. 3 years ago, we went out for bids on chemicals for the treatment of the water plant and the wastewater plant. This year, unfortunately, due to COVID, there's been increase in prices for not only us, but also the manufacturers that increase the chemicals. So one of the manufacturers already sent me a letter. I have a second letter that I didn't get in time for the agenda. So, but they're asking for an increase basically of 183%. So increasing the cost per ton of by $126 of aluminum sulfate that we use to treat the water treatment plant. I am asking for commission to approve the increase. This is the last year of the contract, and we will put it out for bid next year in July anyway to determine. So I would recommend that we approve the increase and extend the contract for another year.
Another year, sir?
This will be the last year. The contracts were approved 1 year with 2 one-year extensions. These will be the last 1-year extensions. If everything continues the way it is, I totally foresee that this price is even going to increase more. This one is going up because of the sulfuric acid that's used to make the blend that we use. That has gone up. The next one is chlorine. That one's gone up. Again, we just got the letter on that one. It's going up by almost 7.5 cents per pound. Doesn't sound like much, but when you order as much as we do, it's going to be a substantial increase.
Okay, any questions for Mr. Salinas? If not, is there a motion to approve?
Based on this recommendation, I'd like to approve. Make a motion to approve, Mayor?
Second.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Motion carries.
Thank you.
Next item, discussion and possible action to approve the Internet Crimes Against Children, ICAC Task Force Memorandum of Understanding, MOU between the Office of the Attorney General and the Texas and the San Juan Police Department. Chief?
Manager, thank you for this opportunity to be before the commission. And basically, this program is already an existing program, and all it is just to renew our MOU with this organization. And it's just to further our resources when we're combating technology-facilitated child exploitation and other sexual crimes.
Any questions for Chief?
Chief, thank you for getting involved with this. It's a very, very useful tool for our agency.
Yes, sir.
Of course, the growing trends of this task force, I've seen it in our office coming in and out, so I think it's a good idea to look into this.
Yes, and I'm actually personally experienced with this when I was in San Antonio. We did a couple of operations, undercover operations for hotel solicitation, and we were targeting the child exploitation, and we were very successful. We actually ended up with multiple arrests on all those occasions, especially one of our hardest times was the NCAA playoffs, when we have all the folks coming into San Antonio, those are the busy times for us, and it was very successful. So firsthand, I have experience with this myself.
Good deal. Okay. With that being said, is there a motion to approve? Is there a second? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Motion carries.
Next item, discussion and possible action to approve the service contract interlocal agreement between the City of Westlaco and the City of San Juan. Mayor Commissioner, this is just the same renewal from the, for the animals, for the one that we have currently with the City of San Juan, I mean, the City of Westlaco. Pretty much everything stays the same, Chief?
That is correct, sir. Yes, compared to the current price or fees, they seem to be the same.
Best deal that we can possibly get, because the other one is a lot more expensive. Yes.
That being said, is there a motion to approve? I'll go ahead and second that. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Motion carries. Thank you, sir.
Mayor Commissioners, item F, we ask that we take no action on this.
Okay.
Correct.
Under item F, no action. Is
That's
that
correct, sir.
Okay. No action under item F. Okay, sir, go ahead.
The next item, discussion and possible action to approve the Law Enforcement Emergency Regional Response Team, the LERT, memorandum of understanding, the MOU between the City of Alton and the Police Department and the City of San Juan Police Department. Chief?
Yes, sir. This is just typical, from MOU that we currently have with other agencies. Right now, we are currently with 8 other agencies as a part of the alert team. This would increase it by 9, and of course, there's a second MOU request here that would increase it to 10 agencies. I'm sorry, sir?
A new one?
Yeah, this is a brand new one. This is correct. Apologize, I couldn't hear.
No
But this is with the City of Alton. They showed interest, and they want to hopefully increase it by 2 to 3, depending on their staff. But that is a new agency that's requesting to be part of the team.
How often do they get called out for the alert?
We have been averaging anywhere between 2 to 3 times a month.
Oh, wow.
Yes, and that had actually, because we were their primary agency, so that put a big burden on our salaries because of the overtime. And so with this, it increases personnel to where we don't have to utilize San Juan police officers. We're able to use multiple officers from different agencies all over the valley, by the way. We have Cameron and Hidalgo County officers.
Perfect. Okay. With that being said, is there a motion to approve? Is there a second? Second. All those in favor say aye. Aye. Motion carries. Thank you, sir.
Next item under item H, discussion and possible action to approve the Law Enforcement Emergency Regional Response Team alert memorandum of understanding, the MOU between the PSJA ISD Police Department and the City of San Juan Police Department. Chief?
Yes, thank you, sir. So this is again with the school district, PSJ School District. This is a very important one that I'm really pushing hard for because this is it's in our neighborhood. If there's any critical incidents, mass shootings, the school district police department will be requesting our assistance. That's a given. So having members and training together and be able to create a response team from multiple agencies to include the school district, that just enhances our capabilities. Plus, it gives us one of the most important things for this type of operations is that we know the layouts of these buildings that we're approaching. So when we have members of that district, that's what's going to be very critical and essential when we want to have a successful operation.
Questions for Chief? If not, is there a motion to approve? Is there a second? Second. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Motion carries, sir. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Thank you.
Thank you.
On the resolutions, we have consideration and action on a resolution accepting a voluntary annexation petition, setting dates and times of public hearings, and directing the planning department to prepare a service plan for the 10.28 acre tract land out of Lot 2, Block 31, Alamo Land and Sugar Company, according to the plat thereof recorded in Volume 1, pages 24 to 25, met records as requested by 193 South Headwood Drive LLC.
Yes, this is a petition for voluntary annexation. This is located on Stewart and Sam Houston. It's a 10-acre tract that's south of Sorensen Elementary. They're going to do a residential development at that location. The applicant is Heathwood Drive LLC. So they're required to submit the petition, also put the meets and bounds so we know exactly what they're annexing. And we're also required to provide them a service plan agreement with the property owner. So we're going to have 2 public hearings, one on October 12th, and the next one will be November 9th. And then we also have to have two readings, November 23rd on December 14th. So once it does become the city limits, that's a piece of the city that's actually been, passed on for a lot of years. So now it's finally going to be city. So that's going to be good for San Juan. And once it gets annexed, then we'll provide those letters to the tax office, the elections office, all the agencies in the state. So for the city.
Questions for Mr. Escobar? If not, is there a motion to approve? Is there a second? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Motion carries. Thank you, sir.
Item on the consent agenda, tonight we have A, Budget Expenditure Report, July 2021, Budget Expenditure Report, July 2021, item B and C, meeting minutes. If you have any questions on those, we can pull them out or just make an approval on all of them, or motion.
At this time, under consent agenda, is there anything we need to modify or amend under consent agenda? Modify or amend? If not, is there a motion to approve?
So moved.
Is there a second? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Motion carries. Executive?
Next item under executive session, tonight we have the San Juan City Commission will convene executive session according with the Texas Open Meetings Act versus Texas statutes and Code Annotated Government Code, Section 551.071. Consultation with attorney. Tonight we have item 1, 2, and 3 to be discussed in executive session, Mayor.
Okay. At this time, we will be going in executive session. Is there a motion to approve?
So moved.
Is there a second? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
We'll be in executive session at 6:52 p.m.
There a motion to come back from our executive session?
So move.
Motion been made by Mr. Villegas,
Second.
second by Ms. Santillan. All in favor, say aye.
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 We're back at 8:08. On items, hold on. I lost my- There you go. On executive session, items 1, 2, and 3, no actions taken at this time. The last item would be, to have a motion to adjourn.
So move.
Motion been made by Mr. Villegas, a
Second.
second by Ms. Santillan. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Meeting's been adjourned at 8:09.